On Thursday, March 20th, 2026, the Los Angeles Lakers arrived in Miami under grueling circumstances. The squad had touched down at 5 a.m. local time following their game against the Houston Rockets the previous night, leaving them with a brutally short window before suiting up again. Despite the exhaustion, all three injury-questionable players, LeBron James, dealing with left foot arthritis, Luka Doncic managing right hip soreness, and Austin Reaves nursing a right forearm contusion, were upgraded to available ahead of the Heat matchup. The fatigue was real, the bodies were battered, and yet the stakes couldn't have been higher. The Lakers were sitting at 44 wins and 25 losses through 69 games, holding the third seed in a brutally competitive Western Conference. The night before in Houston had been nothing short of extraordinary. Dončić had delivered a masterclass, finishing with 40 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, and 1 steal while converting 12 of 25 field goal attempts and 7 of 17 three-point attempts in 38 minutes of action. LeBron James wasn't far behind, pouring in 30 points on an astonishing 13 of 14 shooting clip, making him the oldest player in NBA history to record at least 30 points while shooting 90% or better from the floor. These weren't just basketball players grinding through a schedule. They were historic performers carrying an entire franchise's playoff ambitions on their weary legs. When they boarded a plane in the early hours and flew overnight to Miami, the weight of what was being asked of them was immense. It was against this backdrop of fatigue and high stakes that the incident occurred. During the first half of the Lakers' road game against the Miami Heat, Reaves and Dončić were transitioning back on defense together. Reaves, focused on tracking Heat players advancing from the backcourt, simply didn't see that his footwork was on a collision course with Dončic's ankles. The contact was made, and the Slovenian guard tumbled to the floor, slow to recover as Miami's offense set up its next play. He did, however, remain in the game. ESPN's NBA account posted the clip with a carefully worded caption, noting that Reaves appeared to accidentally trip Dončić on the play, and that single word, appeared, became the accelerant that lit the internet on fire. Social media didn't wait for context. Fans immediately dissected the footage, with some insisting the collision was a deliberate act of frustration disguised as clumsiness, arguing that Dončić had been torching Reaves all game and that the trip was retaliation. The speculation snowballed quickly, especially given a particularly sensitive piece of context. At that moment in the season, Dončić was just one technical foul away from serving an automatic one-game suspension. Every person watching understood the stakes. Any visible outburst, any flash of anger, any words exchanged could cost the Lakers their offensive engine for an entire game during a crucial stretch of the season. The crowd collectively held its breath, knowing full well that Dončić is not a player known for containing his emotions. He talks to fans, he challenges referees, and he doesn't shy away from confrontation. To fully appreciate why this incident resonated so deeply, one needs to understand the relationship that Dončić and Reaves have built over the past year. What began as a quiet, distant dynamic, Reaves himself noted that Dončić barely spoke during his early days in Los Angeles, mirroring the reserved demeanor Reaves had shown in his own rookie season, has since blossomed into one of the most entertaining bromance in the entire league. ESPN's Dave McMenamin reported that members of the Lakers organization described their bond as a genuine bromance, forged through a shared love of trash talk and relentless teasing. Head coach J.J. Redick confirmed as much, telling McMenamin that both players realize they share the same competitive personality and natural trash-talking instincts, allowing a unique chemistry to develop organically between them. The moments that have defined this friendship go well beyond basketball. Before a home game against the New Orleans Pelicans, the two were captured engaging in a playful wrestling match alongside a trainer, a clip that sent fan accounts into a frenzy of fire emojis and laughter. After a 129-101 road win over the Golden State Warriors, Dončić walked over to Reaves mid-interview and began tossing his own clothes at his teammate, prompting Reaves to call him a freaking idiot, in a tone that made clear there was nothing but affection behind the words. Their competition extends far beyond the hardwood. Reaves noted that the two go head-to-head in cards, bowling, and darts, sports at which, he was quick to point out, Dončić has beaten him at neither. Their off-court rivalry has a home base too. Dončić's 8,000-square-foot Manhattan beach mansion, purchased from tennis star Maria Sharapova during the off-season, complete with a two-lane bowling alley in the basement. When Dončić had a rough night in early December, The first thing he did was send Reaves a text. "Come over. We're bowling." Reaves made the 10-minute drive and arrived to find not just Dončić, but two of his friends, assistant coach Greg St. Jean and head video coordinator Michael Wexler, waiting for him. Even the team's rookie, Edu Thiero, has taken note, observing that while the Lakers hold each other accountable as critics, the love among teammates is never in question. The on-court partnership has been equally compelling. In the 31 games where both Dončić and Reaves have shared the floor dating back to last season, Reaves has averaged 21.5 points, 5.4 assists, and 4.8 rebounds per game, while connecting on 47.6% of his field goal attempts overall and 37.7% from beyond the arc. His individual ceiling has risen visibly alongside Dončić's presence, illustrated most dramatically when Dončić missed 3 games last month due to a finger injury and Reaves stepped into the focal role, averaging a staggering 40.0 points and 10.0 assists across that stretch. The two also shared one of the season's most memorable moments just days before the Miami trip, when the Lakers faced the Denver Nuggets in overtime. Trailing late in regulation, Reaves, acting on instructions from Redick relayed through Dončić, intentionally missed a free throw and chased down the rebound, banking in a tying bucket with 1.9 seconds remaining. The Lakers eventually closed out a 127-125 victory in overtime, with Dončić delivering the dagger on a cold-blooded fadeaway with 0.5 seconds left. "JJ told me to tell AR to miss right," Dončić revealed afterward. "So he missed left. It was a great play. That's very hard to do." The level of synchronized trust embedded in that sequence was unmistakable. The Miami trip occurred while the Lakers were riding a wave of exceptional momentum. The team had won 9 of their last 10 games and 7 in a row heading into the Heat matchup. Just days before, during that second Rockets game, Dončić had achieved yet another milestone, becoming the first player in NBA history to record at least 250 points, 50 rebounds, 50 assists, and 25 three-pointers over a 7-game span, firmly establishing himself as the frontrunner for the 2026 MVP award. After the Rockets' victory, Dončić addressed reporters with quiet confidence. "We always believed. If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here. We have a great team. This is just the start of something beautiful." That same night, Dončić had revealed to reporters that a section of Houston's crowd had been hurling insults and obscene gestures at him throughout the fourth quarter. Motivation he channeled directly into a dominant performance. When Luka Doncic takes something personally, it becomes rocket fuel. The tripping incident also arrived in the wake of another wave of media turbulence. Just 2 weeks earlier, a different clip had gone viral, one showing Dončić appearing to ignore Redick's offered fist bump after being subbed out of a game against the Golden State Warriors. Redick had followed Dončić down the sideline. The two exchanged heated words, and forward Jared Vanderbilt had physically stepped between them. The narrative machinery immediately activated, with accusations flying that the relationship between star and coach was fractured. Yet Redick shut it down swiftly and convincingly, saying before the Lakers' subsequent 102-100 win over the Pelicans, "It felt very normal to me." He and Dončić had apparently laughed about the moment afterward. A source close to Dončić told ESPN that the two share a strong, close relationship built on mutual competitiveness and constant mutual challenges. A bond that, according to a separate source, stretches back nearly a decade. Even the Lakers organization itself dismissed the drama plainly, with one source asking ESPN rhetorically, "Find me a star on a 3-game losing streak in the NBA that isn't frustrated." Yet the pattern was now clear to observers. The Redick sideline moment had a resolution. Every previous flare-up had been quickly defused. But the internet, already primed for the next Lakers drama cycle, was ready to manufacture a new narrative the moment the tripping clip surfaced. As one league source told ESPN, "LA is different. The smallest thing becomes the biggest thing." And so the story of a tunnel confrontation between Dončić and Reaves began spreading. A dramatic, violent post-game clash that would supposedly send shockwaves through the organization. The only problem? No credible reporter confirmed it. No verified account surfaced. No video emerged. It was, by all available evidence, a fabrication built on top of a very real, very mundane moment. Two exhausted teammates colliding during a basketball play. What deserves far more attention than any imagined tunnel altercation is the genuine competitive challenge the Lakers face as they push toward the playoffs. The team stands at 11 wins and 6 losses in games where Dončić, LeBron James, and Reaves have all been available. But within those games, the trio has only outscored opponents by a combined 3 points across 297 minutes of shared floor time. That razor-thin margin reveals the true tension at the heart of this team. 3 players, each capable of taking over any game, all needing one basketball. Redick has acknowledged it directly, noting that the challenge is biggest when all 3 are on the court simultaneously, because each one has to sacrifice, not just the other 2 but all of them. Dončić leads the league at 32.5 points per game and is posting season averages of 33.0 points, 8.0 rebounds, 8.5 assists, and 1.5 steals while shooting 47.5% from the field and 36.6% from 3 across 57 games. The Lakers' offensive rating of 120.6 in his minutes on the floor would rank first in the entire NBA across a full season. Even LeBron James, a 4-time champion who has been the undisputed best player on every team he has suited up for over 2 decades, has publicly embraced a different role, calling Dončić and Reaves the team's closers, and describing his own function as complementary support on the defensive end. That shift in LeBron's framing speaks volumes. So too does a small exchange that took place just days before the Miami game, when Reaves was mid-answer during a media session and Dončić casually interjected to give him credit for a defensive play. Reaves responded without hesitation. That was it. He gets all the credit. No ego. No posturing. 2 players who have bowled together in a basement, thrown clothes at each other during interviews, played fight before games, and blocked each other from picking up balls during live play. The last of which, in a game against the Toronto Raptors with 3:34 remaining, actually resulted in a delay of game violation for the Lakers, are not 2 players on the verge of imploding. Even Snoop Dogg, appearing as the first-ever guest on Rich Paul's Game Over podcast, weighed in with enthusiasm for the Donic and Reaves pairing, echoing the broader sentiment among the team's fan base. That these 2 aren't a ticking time bomb, but a legitimate partnership with genuine postseason potential. The bottom line, then, is straightforward. The trip happened. It was caught on camera. Dončić went down, got back up, and stayed in the game. No foul was called. No technical was issued. No verified tunnel confrontation has been reported by any credible source. What actually occurred was 2 physically compromised teammates, both playing through injuries, both running on minimal sleep after an overnight cross-country flight, colliding awkwardly during a defensive transition on the second night of a back-to-back. The Lakers still have a 6-game road trip in progress, with upcoming stops against the Orlando Magic, the Detroit Pistons, and the Indiana Pacers before returning home. Every game in a compressed Western Conference race carries weight. But if history offers any guidance, from the Redick sideline moment to the pregame play fights to the bowling alley texts, to the intentional miss-overtime play, the Donic and Reaves partnership is built on something far more durable than a viral clip can dismantle. The trip is real. The tunnel confrontation is not. And the Lakers, all evidence suggests, are going to be just fine.